Let me tell you a story about a man who had every reason to fail, but chose not to. A story about a boy who was abandoned as a baby, dropped out of college twice, fired from jobs, rejected by investors, and yet became one of the richest men in the world. This is the story of Larry Ellison, the man who built Oracle and proved that your past doesn't define your future. Larry Ellison was born in 1944 in New York City. His mother was a teenage single mom who couldn't afford to raise him. When he was only 9 months old, he got pneumonia, and his mother made a heartbreaking decision. She gave him up for adoption. He was taken in by his aunt and uncle in Chicago. He grew up not knowing who his real parents were. His adoptive father was strict, skeptical, and often told him he would never amount to anything. Larry was curious, rebellious, and different. He questioned everything, but deep down, he carried a wound, a quiet anger that came from being given away, and that pain became the source of his drive. When Larry was 12, he discovered that he was adopted. That truth hit him like a storm. He felt betrayed, but instead of letting it break him, he decided that one day he would prove his worth, not with words, but with achievement. In school, Larry was smart but bored. He didn't care about memorizing facts. He cared about understanding why. He loved science and math, but hated authority. He once said, "I have had all the disadvantages required for success." He started college at the University of Illinois, and for a while he did well. But tragedy struck again. His adoptive mother died. He was devastated, lost, and soon dropped out. He then tried again at the University of Chicago, but left after one term. Most people would have given up, but not Larry. Because even though he didn't finish college, he found something that would change his life forever: computer programming. At a time when computers filled entire rooms, Larry saw their potential. He understood that data, information, would one day become the world's most valuable asset. So, he packed his bags and moved to California, the land of dreams, and the place where rebels like him belonged. In California, Larry started from nothing. He had no degree, no money, no connections, just raw confidence, and a willingness to outwork everyone. He worked at small tech companies, writing code, learning from every project. But he didn't last long at most jobs, because Larry never liked being told what to do. He argued with his bosses. He quit when things got boring. He wasn't meant to be an employee. He was meant to be a builder. At one of those jobs, at a company called Ampex, Larry worked on a secret CIA project called Oracle. That name stuck in his mind, because it meant wisdom, vision, truth. And one day, he would use that name for something much bigger. In 1977, when Larry was 33 years old, he decided to take the biggest risk of his life. He and two friends started their own company. They called it Software Development Laboratories. With just $200 of their savings, they worked out of a small office with no windows, no fancy equipment, just passion and caffeine. Larry had a bold idea. He believed that in the future, every company, every government, every organization would need a powerful way to store and manage data. Something faster, smarter, and more flexible than anything that existed. That something was a relational database. At the time, almost nobody believed him. Investors ignored him. Even the big tech companies thought his idea was ridiculous. Their first product? It failed miserably. It was full of bugs. Clients hated it. Most startups would have quit right there, but Larry didn't. He studied the problem, rebuilt the code, and named his next product after the CIA project that once inspired him, Oracle. For a while, Oracle grew fast. Larry's confidence was magnetic. He convinced big companies to take chances on his software, and slowly, Oracle became the backbone of how data was stored and used. But then came disaster. By 1990, Oracle had grown too fast. Larry had pushed his sales teams to sell aggressively, and they did. Too aggressively. They reported fake sales, inflated numbers, and the company's finances fell apart. In 1 year, Oracle lost $12 million. The company was drowning in debt. The investors panicked. The board of directors tried to fire him. Oracle, the company Larry had built from nothing, was now on the edge of bankruptcy. And in that moment, Larry Ellison faced the darkest chapter of his life. He could walk away, or he could fight. He chose to fight. Larry took full responsibility for what happened. He didn't blame anyone else. He rebuilt Oracle from the inside out. He fixed the product. He fired the people who lied. He changed the way the company worked, from chaos to discipline. And slowly, Oracle came back to life. Within a year, it was profitable again. Within a few years, it was dominating the database market. And Larry Ellison, the college dropout who started with $200, became one of the richest men in the world. Today, Oracle powers the digital infrastructure behind banks, governments, hospitals, and websites all around the globe, and Larry Ellison's net worth exceeds $100 billion. But for him, it was never just about money. It was about freedom, the freedom to build, to think, to live on his own terms. He once said, "The most important aspect of my personality is that I'm not afraid to fail." And that's exactly what defined him, because failure didn't stop him. Rejection didn't stop him. Even near bankruptcy didn't stop him. He turned every setback into a stepping stone. Larry Ellison's story is not about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about believing in yourself when no one else does. It's about using your pain as power. He was abandoned, doubted, rejected, and yet he built something that changed the world. So the next time you feel like giving up, remember this: you don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need permission. You don't even need a perfect plan. You just need belief and the courage to keep going when everything tells you to stop, because sometimes the people who come from nothing are the ones who build everything.